Hey y'all, what's up? How's it going? We are back. My name is Nikki. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I appreciate having you guys here. I'm so excited. In today's video, we are going to go over everything that I have in my camera bag as a travel photographer and content creator, and everything that I think is so necessary for you guys to have your own successful travel content creator businesses as far as camera gear goes. These are all things that I do not leave my house without, and I'm very excited to share them with you. Before we get too into it, make sure that you guys subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun adventures coming up. I'm going to Belize very soon, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up. This list can either be very long or very short depending on what you're looking for, but I'm going to keep it very simple for you to start with. Everything that you need to be a successful travel content creator is this right here. It's something you already have. I see so many people, I have so many friends who make this their reality and have a very successful business only using their phone. It is an incredible tool. It's not about how much money you spent on gear. It's not about how many pieces of gear you have. It's about how you use what you do have. And you can start with this. You can have a very successful business simply just using your phone. Let me know in the comments if you guys want a video where I go over creative ways to use your phone and how you can run a successful travel photography business using just this and nothing else. Now, if you're somebody who's looking to dive a little bit deeper into the travel photography creator business and step up to a professional camera, now I will go through the list of everything that I have that I don't leave my house without, that I have used to work with tourism boards and different brands and cruise lines all over the world, and they just make my business go round, and I couldn't do what I do creatively without each of these things. Before we get into the list and potentially overwhelm you, I did really want to say that don't feel like you need to get all of these things at once right now in order to be successful at anything. Like I said already, it's about how you use what you have. And if you go out and get all of these things right now, you're going to be overwhelmed. It's not fun to try and learn a bunch of things at once. So baby step your way into it. If you feel like you're creating and you need something very specific, step into that. Don't try and do all of it at once. It'll get really overwhelming. Starting off with a professional level camera. So I have a Sony a7 II. Honestly, this is really affordable nowadays. This camera was like brand new in like 2015, 2016. I bought it in 2016. So this beauty, she's about had her day, but still a very phenomenal camera. Now, as far as picking a professional camera goes, that's entirely up to you. I know it can be really overwhelming and difficult, but I promise you there's a lot of really good blogs and stuff out there. I picked this one because it was a step up from the Rebel series that I had started with. I started with a Canon Rebel T3i, I believe, and this was the next best thing when it was time for me to graduate school and, you know, up my gear. The next things on the list are lenses. So I have Tamron lenses. I don't know if I'm holding that up right. Looks like I am now. Are phenomenal lenses without breaking the bank. You can buy G Master lenses, Zeiss lenses, Sony lenses, whatever really makes your heart go round, I guess. But these I think are phenomenal for the price. I hardly ever take this one off. I have this is a 17 to 28, so this is wide, and I have a 28 to 200. I pretty exclusively leave this bad boy on my camera. It is so versatile. It's just everything that I need, and the beauty of these lenses is they're so light. Not only are they affordable in the grand scheme of things, they're incredibly light, so when you're doing things like climbing a mountain or walking a city for 10 hours, or simply walking through the airport or running from gate to gate, it's just amazing the difference in weight for the bang. The next thing on the list is a Moment CPL filter, circular polarizing / linear filter. I don't know why that's always a mouthful for me to say. Basically what this is you put it on the end of your lens and you can knock down those reflective surfaces. So let's say you're shooting a car and it's just too shiny and you can't see detail in like the logo, knock it down with one of these bad boys. Let's say you're photographing an alpine lake and you want to see the blue, not just a reflective sun off of it. You get one of these bad boys. It's like an ND filter on crack, honestly. Unless it's cloudy outside, this sucker's on my camera. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Next on the list is a GoPro. This is one of the things that you probably could wait a little bit to buy unless you are a true water adventurer. This is just something that I have loved to have because it snuck up on me. All of a sudden it was like, wow, I need to take photo and video underwater and I have no way to do that. So I always recommend having one of these guys. And then when you start getting to like extreme things, like, I don't know, swinging off of a canyon, another great tool to have. The next thing on the list is a good, sturdy travel tripod. This is going to be so beneficial, especially if you are somebody who's doing this solo. I've spent a lot of time doing solo projects, and I would show you my tripod, but I'm currently using it. You're on it right now. I have a ProMaster carbon fiber tripod, and when I got it in like 2014, it was the smallest, most compact, lightest tripod you could get on the market, and now it is so clunky and heavy I couldn't even be bothered to carry it with me anymore. I do recommend the Peak Design travel tripod. They are a bit spendy, but they are absolutely phenomenal tripods. My friends have them. I've used them. They're great because there are clips that you can literally just put your phone on it. There are clips for your camera. It's very small. There's just so many things about the tripod that it's so good. So if you're just starting out and you have to start with like a budget tripod, definitely do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would definitely recommend working your way up to that Peak Design travel tripod. Speaking of budget tripods, this guy right here, this is called a Joby Pod. I am obsessed with this thing. I use it all the time. And it's not just for your phone. You can take this little piece off, and there's a clip here that you can put your camera in, and you can use it just the same. It is perfect for wrapping your camera and your phone in every precarious place that you could dream of while you're vlogging, while you're taking a travel, like anything. It is honestly such a great little tool and really affordable in comparison. So even if you want to start out with something like this is a great option. And this is like easily my favorite piece of gear. But if you have the Peak Design travel tripod, this guy right here, this Peak Design capture clip, is absolutely amazing. You can put it on your backpack so that your camera is easily accessible. So there's a clip on the bottom of my camera right there. So when I have my backpack on, I can just slide that in there. Look at that. She on there. I go hiking with this thing all the time. I use it when I'm walking around cities all the time. My camera is easily accessible, and look, it just pops right off. Literally my favorite piece of gear. So it's another perk to having that Peak Design tripod, because this clip works exactly with the tripod as well. The next tool is specifically for my solo adventurers. This is an intervalometer. Honestly, this works great for more than just solo adventures. This is great for capturing those long night shots on repeat. This is great for getting group shots. This is just a great tool. It's basically a remote. You plug it into your camera and you can control the shutter and how many photos it takes, when, how often, all of that stuff using this simple tool. A lot of the newer cameras have that built in, but if you're buying an older camera, that's a great tool to have. Moving down on the list, we are to hard drives. I'm gonna be real with you guys, like real right now. These Lacy hard drives are the best I have ever used. I've had issues with basically every single other hard drive I've tried to use. These have not, knock on wood, have not failed me yet. That aside, having hard drives is going to be vital in your file management. I'm telling you now, just start organized, because I'm currently going through a debacle of trying to get all of my stuff backed up in all sorts of places and just having access to everything that I need everywhere I go. Next on the list is memory cards. And I say cards because, like, in my current situation right now, I don't know where one of my memory cards is. I really don't. But that's the benefit of having two. If you can't find one, you know you have the other. I have two 128 gig memory cards, and I've never even come close to filling them up, but I know that day will come, so having two is very important. Next thing on the list is a computer and or laptop. I don't have a desktop. I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I find this to be my number one used piece of gear. I use it for everything from emails to planning schedules to planning itineraries to editing. The editing is the biggest part of it. Making sure that you have a computer that can handle all the software that you're going to use is really important, because nothing is more frustrating than getting bogged up by a computer that just can't handle the softwares you're using. So with that being said, necessary softwares as a travel content creator or photographer include a lot of the Adobe Creative Suite. I pay for the whole thing, but that's because that's what I was given, and that's what I signed up for when I started school because I was using so many of the software programs. But now you probably could get away with just starting with Lightroom and moving into Photoshop if you feel like it's necessary. I also use Final Cut and I have used DaVinci. I will say if you're starting with video or video is one of your bigger focus points, I would get Final Cut and not Premiere. It's just a little bit more user-friendly and less overwhelming, in my opinion, for beginners. If you're looking to dive into Premiere, I also think that is a phenomenal software. It's hands down my favorite that I've used, so entirely up to you, but I wouldn't say it's bad to maybe test out both. The next thing on the list is a microphone. This one that I'm currently using, you can't really see, and I don't want to pick it up because you will not be able to hear me, but having a good microphone will be great for voiceovers if you're doing long form video content like this, or if you're doing voiceovers even for short form content. It's overall just an excellent tool to have. I've used it for so many things. I never thought I would ever need a mic. I was like, no, there's no way I'm gonna need one. And then I got one and I'm like, how was I ever doing anything without a microphone? And the last thing on the list, I don't know how you guys didn't guess it when I picked it up earlier, is a good camera bag. So this one is from Langley. I've had this one since 2016. I love it. I am looking for a little bit more compact one because when I do have to pack things tight, this takes up all my legroom and barely gets me on a plane as a personal item. So this bag specifically though has a flip top here and a like open compartment for like more travel items, like let's say your clothes or whatever, a laptop sleeve in the back here, and then it flips open and has 3 little slots for camera gear that's nice, padded and protected. Like I said, I'm looking for something that's just slightly more compact, and this bag was brand new, like I said, in like 2015, 2016. So they definitely have better designs on their website now, but having a good camera bag is vital in getting all of the places that you're going. This one is by far my favorite as far as comfortability. This one is the most comfortable one that I own, basically. I can hike mountains with this. I can walk all day in an airport, through a city, and I'm still comfortable. So that's another huge factor, is make sure that your camera bag has everything you need for your gear, but also make sure that it's comfortable so you can wear it for long periods of time with everything in it. Okay, so those are all of the things that I find vital and I will not leave my house without, especially if I'm creating. But I did want to add a few little like fun flair items that just like will tickle the creative juices a little bit more, and things that I really love to bring with me to just add a little spice to the mix. And first thing on that list is a little GoPro dome. So if you've ever seen those shots where it's like the water line is here and then you can see somebody swimming underneath, but the sky above with birds in it or a boat or something, they're shooting that with this. This is for a GoPro specifically. I know they make them for cameras, and they honestly probably make them for phones now too. This little dome thing is so fun to have with the GoPro. It just adds that little extra spunk. Next on the list is a Lume Cube. These are great little additional light pieces. Wow, look how pretty. And they do have ones that like change colors so you can like have fun. Let's say you want to like fake a neon moment at night doing some portraits. That's exactly what these are for. Or you're vlogging and it's kind of like a darker space. You can like put them on top of your camera. There's so many reasons to have these. Honestly, they're phenomenal little tools. Next on the list for a little spice are film cameras. You guys, please tell me you saw this one coming, honestly. So this is technically a toy camera. It's called a Diana F Plus, and it takes 120 film. You barely have any control over exposure. It's literally sunny, partly cloudy, or cloudy, and you just kind of get what you get. It's so much fun to play with, and there's literally no flash. There are accessories you can get with it to make it do all sorts of different things. It's just so much fun to just have a little like point and shoot. You never know what you're gonna get in between moments type thing. And this is just a typical Kodak. You guys have seen these before, at least I hope you have, but I love to carry these around too, just because they're a little bit smaller and I would feel really bad if I lost that one. Next on the list is a drone. You do not have to have a drone. I literally don't have a drone. I have friends that have drones. I have had drones at my fingertips before. You don't have to have them, but they are excellent tools to get fun creative angles and to just add extra flair to your short form, long form, in between, beyond content. And DJI is forever coming out with new ones. I'm pretty sure they just came out with another new one. If you are looking to do long form and short form content, make sure that if you get a drone to get one where the camera turns and you can shoot vertical as well. It's not fun to take the footage and try and crop in and pretend like it looks good, because it just doesn't. I promise you that. And last on the list is another DJI iTum. That was a mouthful. This is the DJI Osmo. They make ones that are easier to balance now. I think this is the Osmo Mobile 3. Basically, it unfolds and it's a gimbal for your phone, so you can go running down mountains or through streets or in circles or whatever you want, and your footage is stable. I've used it for hyperlapses, time lapses, literally anything and everything imaginable. And the great thing is it's small but powerful. This thing, the battery life on this is phenomenal, and it's just a great tool to have, especially if you're traveling with people that necessarily aren't in the content creator world and don't really have the ability to become a human gimbal and they're just kind of shaky. This is a great tool to have to just stabilize all your shots and know that no matter what you're getting, it's solid. Now, if you're here because you love photography and you want to be a travel photographer, or you just want to be a photographer in general, or you want to be a content creator, and now you've got the gear figured out, but you want to know more about photography, don't worry, I got you covered. I will be coming out with a photo ebook here shortly. I will be sharing that with you guys here, but I also will be sharing it over on Instagram. So please feel free to follow me over there and keep an eye on the community tab here. I will be releasing it in my newsletter as well. So if you haven't signed up for that already, it is linked in the description and you will be the first to know when it's coming live. I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on it. But for now, if you guys have any photo specific questions that you want me to answer in the photo ebook or in another video, please leave them in the comments below. I will be more than happy to make content, answer those questions, include it in the ebook, all of the above, but I would just love to hear from you. And I think that is a wrap on this video. If you guys have any essentials that you didn't see me talk about, but you constantly have in your camera bag, please leave that down in the comments as well. And make sure you subscribe before you leave so you don't miss the next video. We're moving into the Belize series of events, and I'm so excited to be sharing it with you guys. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up before you leave to let me know you were here, and I will see you on the next adventure. Bye!